Hello, everybody.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Hi, good morning.
Right. Maybe while we're waiting, we can kick off some introductions here, just get to know each other. So I'll kick us off. My name is Ron Petty. I'm one of the volunteers here in our little corner of the world at the CNAI working group. Happy New Year's. Thanks for being here. We'll talk about the agenda and stuff here in a moment. Just real quick on me, I work for a company called RXM. We do consulting and all over Kubernetes. I don't know if you can see, but got my little ambassador jacket on, which actually surprisingly fits. I couldn't believe it. Usually most swag does not fit. So hello and welcome. Let's just go down the list here. Deep, you're current number 2 in the rotation.
Yeah, hi. Happy New Year to everyone. I work for Cisco. I have mostly security background and one of the contributor to AI security white paper.
Looking forward to that. Sundar from the beach.
Right. Hi, Ronald. Hi, everybody. I'm Sundar. I've been in the networking and security industry for more than 20 years now. I've been mostly involved in orchestration for the past few years. I was involved in the cloud native orchestrator called MCO, and more recently I was involved with Nefio. So I have a long open source background. And after I was attending these meetings more regularly sometime last year. But some changes at work was less regular. I hope to attend more regularly going forward.
Very good. Well, nice to see you, Sundar.
Sure.
You got a great office.
Yes, I like it too.
All right. Cameron from Europe.
From Colombia, actually.
Oh no, you get around.
It's true. It's true. I'm Cameron Oktupel. I'm with Lost Noobs and Duplo Cloud, and I'm working on leading the scheduling white paper, which we're going to start on Monday. And down here in Colombia, actually creating a school of technology with Lost Noobs. It's my organization to teach technology to the world. So
awesome. All right. Well, good to see you, Cameron. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Right. Valentina. Hi.
Hi, hello everyone. Valentina, I'm based in New York. I'm a principal architect at Red Hat. I started contributing to the Qflow project in the last months, part of the release team. And also I'm working with the platform working groups at the CNCF on everything around platforms, performance of product. So yeah, excited to be here.
Excellent. Well, happy to have you. Well, All right, Ricardo. Hello.
Hey everybody, I'm Ricardo, uh, one of the leads for this working group, and I'm also a co-chair for Tag Runtime in the CNCF, and I work full-time for Snowflake. Glad to be here.
Awesome. Awesome. Hey, Ricardo, real quick, are you coming to that thing Monday night in San Francisco at the Internet Archive?
I haven't confirmed yet, but I'll let you know later.
All right, cool. No peer pressure.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
All right. Hi, Mona from San Francisco.
Hi, everybody. Actually, I'm not based in San Francisco. I'm located in Munich, Germany. I work as an independent contractor for a cloud native app, as a cloud native apps and platform architect. Prior to that, I worked for VMware. I have a huge interest in the cloud native system and the AI and Kubeflow machine learning workloads in a specific, and that's why I'm here and happy to contribute at some point. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
All right. Our apparently our videos are a set and not an ordered list. Got to go back through. Adele, you're at least now up the ranks here. Happy New Year's, man.
Happy New Year's. Hey everyone, I'm Adel. I'm one of the co-leads for this working group. As a full-time, I work in Red Hat as a product manager, doing AI, cloud native, and other things.
Beautiful. Good to see you, man. Happy New Year's. All right.
Same to you.
Amal, are you with us?
Hello.
Oh.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, happy New Year, everybody. I'm from Pune. I actually work for HSBC. Last year, I can say last year now, in the December, New Delhi, CNCF Native Con I attended. There's so many AI topics, those got delivered in that forum. So yeah, happy to be part of this group. Thank you.
Excellent. Nice to see you. All right. Our good friend Josh. Hello, Josh.
Hey everyone. So my name's Josh Halley. I work for Cisco in the CTO office. Interested in all things cloud native AI. Happy to be here. And Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year. Pedro.
Hi everyone, I'm Pedro. I'm based in Brazil, São Paulo. I'm a member of the tech security. I'm a DevOps engineer in a financial institution here in Brazil. I'm a member of the tech security and a contributor to the AI security white paper.
Excellent. Nice to see you, Pedro. All right. Oh, Ricardo snuck in again. A second Ricardo. Claudia. Hello, Claudia.
Hey, hello, everyone. Happy to be back. I'm Claudia from IBM in New York. I work on Kubernetes, mainly on monitoring for cloud applications in AI, of course. That's why I'm here.
Of course. There is no other kinds of applications nowadays.
There's nothing else. Yeah.
Good to see you, Claudia.
Good to see you.
Our presenter speaker for today, Matt White. Hello, Matt. Thanks for making it.
Coming off.
There you are.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I'll do an intro as well. I am currently in San Francisco. Don't have the cool San Francisco background, but I am the executive director of the PyTorch Foundation and the GM of AI at the Linux Foundation. I also work part-time at UC Berkeley teaching data science.
Very good. Thanks for being here, Matt. We appreciate it.
Of course.
You couldn't actually show a San Francisco background if you're in San Francisco. That would be two San Franciscos.
Yeah, that's true. It might break the matrix.
That's right. It's a generative AI thing. All right. Very good. Namisha, hello.
Hey everyone, glad to be back. So I'm Nimisha. I'm based in Seattle, and I work for Confluent as a Kubernetes platform engineer. So yeah, all things Kubernetes basically. I'm also contributing to the sustainability in AI and the security in AI papers. So yeah, thanks.
Nice to see you. Sudhanshu, are you with us?
Yes, yes, I'm with you. Hi, I've been joining.
Oh, we lost your audio.
Here a little bit. Yeah.
We cannot hear you. Maybe
Sudhanshu,
yeah.
we lost you, Sudhanshu. You might want to move the chat. Sorry about that. All right, Sudhanshu, we're gonna move on because we can't hear you. Okay, Vikas, hello, Vikas.
Yeah, hi everyone. Happy New Year. I am Vikas from New Delhi, India. I work for IBM Research. I've been joining these calls for last 3-4 calls, I believe. We work in the compliance area, and we are looking at how to support compliance for AI workloads. We are actively involved in the tax security. We and leading the compliance related work in the compliance working group over there. We also have a sandbox project called Oscar Compass that we moved to CNCF sandbox last year. And our interest in this working group is to see how we can use the technologies that we have developed for compliance for AI workloads. Thank you.
Andre, you with us?
Yeah, hi folks, hey everyone. I'm Andre. I work at Apple. Happy New Year, everyone. Nice to see you in this call again. And I think the Engineering 5 will be super exciting. Looking forward to work with all of you. So I came from Kubeflow community, been there for the last 7 years. Mostly working on distributed training, LLM fine-tuning, AutoML, so the ML development there, and helping this working group to see how we can make MLOps more cloud native.
Awesome. Well, good to see you, Andre. Happy New Year's. Okay. Who do we have here? Amri. Amri, you might be muted. No audio.
Better now?
There you go.
Okay.
All right.
Too many microphones connected to my computer. Happy New Year, Amri Shiv. I work at AWS. I work on the customer side as a solution architect with the open source AI and ML group.
Awesome. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
Okay, and I think Joel, are you with us? Close this out. Joel, no audio. It doesn't look like you're muted, but no audio if you're talking. All right, Joel, happy New Year. Maybe if you get back, jump in. Okay. Sorry, I'm losing my voice. All right, welcome everybody. Per usual, we'll start off with a quick review of the agenda, and then we will quickly get into updates of our current projects, and then we will get to Mr. White and get into all things what's going on, LFAI and PyTorch and all those goodies. So let's get to it. All right. Once again, I assume everybody has this, but if not, here it is in the chat. All right. So once again, if you're not familiar with our bylaws and guidance, please take a look at these documents at the top. Our meetings are the second and fourth Friday at 8 a.m. And so far, the standing projects are on the alternative Fridays at 8 a.m. So the first and the third Friday at 8 a.m. So the white papers that are currently being researched and developed. So basically 8 a.m. Seems to be the time that works well for the majority. Okay. We've got some prior assets, of course. Please take a look at those for anyone who is new. So those are the links to them. All right. So jumping down. All right, upcoming events. If you know of an AI related event that's worth a note, please add it here to the top. Of course, there's a million events out there. Hard to keep track of them all. Real quick, I'll just tell you for what I know about these. So AI Day is an event between the Internet Society and the San Francisco, the local chapters of the Internet Society and the Association for Computing Machinery. So this will be on February 6th. It is a fundraiser for both of those chapters. So there will be two events. In the morning and afternoon will be a training around cloud native tooling and AI. And then the evening will be a series of talks from different perspectives in industry. So industry being different industries, not just tech. So we have, for example, Jacob Cantor, who's a technology lawyer, will be presenting about what is the impact of AI in regulatory stuff in the legal realm, compliance realm. We have Daniel Rydell, who will be speaking about the impact of AI just from a VC's perspective as a partner at a VC firm. We'll also talk to Charles Mock, who is on the board of trustees at the Internet Society. And he'll be talking about the impact of AI on the professional societies as well as just society, civil society in general. And so the point being is we hope this event is a one-day kind of, if you're kind of new to AI, you can kind of get the whole breadth, right? You can see here's the real tools, that kind of do some of the things. And here is a bunch of perspective from out in the world, how AI is actually impacting things. So please join us if you can. If you have any questions, I'm pretty much the one organizing this. So if you have any questions, please let me know and we'll happily answer. It'll be at Google Community Space in San Francisco, which is right off the Embarcadero. Okay, next is KubeCon, Cloud Native Con Europe. Just dug this up a moment ago. It looks like the CFP is closed. I can't ever keep track of all the dates. So, hopefully some of our members will have talks accepted for this and or the actual main conference. I'm just curious, anyone here submit any talks here? I did, but got Ricardo.
I did too.
All right, great. All right, so fingers crossed. Hopefully we'll get a little representation. I don't know about boots yet. Ricardo, any hint?
I don't have any updates on that yet, but we will likely have one. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Cameron.
I'm organizing a meetup in the evening during that week, and I'm going to be speaking. A friend of mine is going to be speaking. So if there's anybody that wants to join us, we are looking for more speakers, another speaker or two, and anybody that wants to come, probably free pizza and drinks or something like that. So.
Oh, sweet. Well, send us some details. Shoot me an email and make sure that it's in people's faces here. That'd be cool.
Will do. Yeah, I'll see if I can get that finalized next week.
All right.
One more thing, the proposals will come out, the decisions will come out on Monday, this upcoming Monday. So we'll know on Monday who's going to be there.
Oh, man. Now we get to sweat all weekend, stressed out. All right. Very cool. I don't know if I'm going. I hope to go. We'll see what my bank account thinks about it. All right. Again, there's the list to other events. Again, please, if you do know events, and including smaller events, right? Sometimes the smaller events are more, intimate and interesting in various degrees. So please list them. We like to know what's going on out there, and we're trying to learn too and share the knowledge. Okay. Moving on.
You got to add a PyTorch conference there. Come on.
Yes, we do. Get PyTorch.
Well, that's in September, right?
October.
October. All right.
22nd. Actually, it's going to be 21st to 23rd now. It's going to be 3 days.
Say the date again.
At the Moscone Center. 21st to 3rd at the Moscone Center
All right.
in San Francisco.
Yep. All right, we'll fix the link here in a minute. All right, thank you, Matt. Yep, absolutely. Love me some Moscone Center. All right. Moving on. All right, please add yourselves so we know you're here. All right, so regular agenda. We've gone through all of our hellos at this point. Adele, would you like to cruise control our dashboard and go through all that and go through the white papers with the guys? If that's okay.
Right, let's do it.
Excellent. I'm going to stop sharing.
All right. All right, so let me share my screen. To here. All right. Do you see my screen?
Yes.
We can.
Okay. All right, so it's a new year. I don't expect people to do a lot or have much progress in the past or the last weeks of last year. So nothing really has changed since last year, but for folks who have joined us new, these are like initiatives that we're tracking. Anything that we plan to do seriously, we should have in here as an item in the dashboard. So basically, we've had efforts that we've finalized and finished, be it the onboarding guide, our mission, vision, strategy, mostly updates to this website here. Let's do it. Yeah, in case you don't know it. So this is where we keep track of our artifacts that we produce. If you're onboarding, this is a good first place. So these here were mostly around, like we've done the landscape, published a white paper. All of these initiatives have been done. In progress, we have the scheduling white paper, which Cameron thankfully will be leading. No pressure here, Cameron. And then the security white paper where Deep is also leading. There's a lot of progress. And then there's the sustainability white paper, which is in flux and in progress as well. We had some folks talk about it in KubeCon India. And then there's arming with Zopia. This was an initiative that I guess we talked about before the year closes last year. And it's ongoing as well, basically building OPA on ARM instances was if I remember correctly, was Oracle Cloud, or which cloud provider was it, Ricardo?
Oracle Cloud.
Yeah.
Oracle.
The key
Yep,
thing
so
is ARM, right? That's the key complexity there.
Yes, that's why arming is. I guess there was the key here. And then there's things that are in the backlog. Oh, by the way, this one is not something that has spawned from this group. It has been routed from this group to the serving group. But there's a white paper, or there's a paper going there for a proposal to have an LLM runtime or a gateway to be more specific and concrete. To have a look as well. And then, yeah, there's a lot of things in the backlog. If you believe these are not enough, feel free to add or request to add your components. This is where we want to be tracking things so that the community and everyone is able to see what we're doing. And if you want to contribute, the artifacts that you're working on, just share it in the issue or in the link so folks can know what you're doing. And if they want to help you or collaborate, they will be able to. So TLDR, not much progress here, but it was the start of the year. We're hoping that we're making progress at least on the theoretical understanding of cloud native and AI on the white papers. The practical projects to come, hopefully will get more traction. And if you want to contribute, feel free and go ahead. Was the rule or was the requirement of make sure to add your name or your link or request to add something here so that other folks know what you're doing and can help you. That's it.
But then one more comment, this board is actually open. So if you have another item that you want to work on that is not on this board, feel free to add it.
Yeah, and go ahead.
No, I had a question. Go ahead, then I'll ask.
I was going to say, if you feel or see that you can't contribute directly to the board, you can create an issue here and ping us if there's an issue with you adding to the board directly. But everything in that board should have a counterpart. Here was the label CNAI. So that should basically show the stuff that we have seen in the board, but their issues at the end of the day.
Okay, so Adil, so tax security folks were asking that some of these white papers, which we are doing this basically tag runtime, is it required that this has to go through TOC? Is there some latest guideline? What I'm being told that TOC is being now very selective. So if it is not discussed, some of these need to be discussed over there. So I'm just wondering if it was ever.
So the TOC have published a process for when we want to publish a paper in general. I will add the link to it. I think we added the link in the previous note, but yeah, they're trying to be selective, not just for the white papers, but also for the projects that get into CNCF in general, like Sandbox and Incubation. And so if you're contributing a project, you're gonna feel that. So it's for the good of the community. But yeah, we once we have an initial proposal and we have a solid understanding of the structure of the paper, ideally we would engage with the TOC. And there's some TOC liaisons and actually in part of the co-leads as well, who have not been attending this call recently, but they are there, and yeah, we try to keep in touch with them.
Yeah, those are general guidelines, but if you already have the structure of the paper and you have the traction community support and you have a target date, it's almost a given that we're going to publish the paper, right? So after the paper is completed, then there's a process where we contact the CNCF and open a ticket with the TOC, and they actually help us, go through like marketing reviews and going through the process to finally publish the paper.
So the question is, we need to go to them when we are ready, or we have to engage beforehand?
Kathy is part of this group as well.
Yeah, she's been involved, but typically with the last white paper that we published, when Kathy was involved the whole way. But I think as long as they came up with these guidelines maybe about 3 or 4 months ago, and that was after we published the AI white paper this year. So as long as you kind of follow those guidelines, I think it will be okay. And then we would go after you're complete, we would just go to the TOC and say like we followed the guidelines, and now we're going to publish the paper, and then we just go through the process of publishing it.
I guess so. To your point, Deep, I think it's a good reminder for us to keep them in touch with what we're doing, and so we should also be actively reaching out. Kathy has been part of that, one of the co-leads of this working group. But she's also should be like one of the liaising people to the TOC. But we can do more active reach out to other folks in the TOC to make sure that we're not breaking the process in any way, shape, or form.
Okay, yeah, got it. Actually, yeah, I think these questions were asked. I have the guidelines with me, and what was not clear to me is that how this process work with the TOC, but I think I understand. And I have worked with Kathy way back in Cisco, so I think I will reach anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that you see here, like initially, this has not changed, but we should have these two folks. Emily, also from Emily is into the security topic, so we should make sure to make them aware. Yeah.
I think the feedback came from Emily in that meeting. So
yeah.
Yeah, so I think the reason they created these guidelines are just to make it lighter weight, so that it doesn't become something like a super high touch point type of thing, right? So I guess you can keep in touch with them and just let them know, okay, we're working on this paper, and then we're following the guidelines and making sure that given the ability to raise any issues if they see anything, right?
All right, I see a hand up, and then I will shut myself down because I know it's already, I want to give Matt time to present. So Sundar.
Yep. This is a quick question. What is the process for contributing to a white paper? Do we need to register somewhere, join some group, or is there any formality around it?
Actually,
Yeah.
just to speed race that question, can we get a quick review from Deep and Cameron? And maybe when you do, just remind people when they could attend the meetings. So anyone could join. Just you just got to participate. So Deep, could you
Yeah.
maybe kick off?
Yeah, so generally we meet for these two white paper, for example, scheduling and AI security, first and third Friday, 8 a.m. exactly this time. And the Zoom links are in the CNCF calendar now, so that's great. And you can join. I think in the beginning, probably you will be in listening mode, and at some point of time, if you can take a topic and move on from there. So it's just open in all ways.
Got it. Thank you.
All right. I guess to your point, Sundar, how we've been doing it so far is, so first of all, there's this process that is linked in the notes. I'll make sure to add it in the notes, where if you're publishing a paper, here's how you can do it and who to reach out to. But the hairy part is where it gets to like finalize and we want to really publish it. This is where we have to engage someone in the CNCF to do a service ticket, and usually Ricardo have been doing that for us, but yeah, this is where we want to engage someone to peer review from the CNCF officially and look for grammar mistakes and all these things and then publish on the website in the blog. We can't do that ourselves, but what we do is start and do all the heavy lifting, and then once that is done, we engage someone to do the publishing and review to make sure that it's politically and grammatically correct.
Right. All right, Cameron, you want to give a quick update on the scheduling? I know you said start Monday, but maybe just remind people kind of where it's at.
Yeah, we met last month and did some action items. So I actually want to see if we can meet on asynchronously on Monday, but all of us do a touch point on Monday that we're at the meeting. I'll post the high level notes. I have those in the meeting notes doc that we're running. And so just do a touch point on Monday and see if we can all catch up on everything. And then, yeah, we'll meet on next Friday, do the Friday morning thing at 8 a.m. Pacific and get cranking. We kind of, I don't think there's been much progress from anybody over the holidays, but there have been a couple of people commenting and bringing together ideas. So I'll put them together and go from there. So if that sounds good to everyone, we'll take a look this weekend, touch point Monday, and then meet next Friday.
That sounds great. Thanks again to Deep and you for shepherding these. I will just say, Cameron, I've been pinged twice this week on people looking for scheduling information. So there is desire, and of course, there's always a desire for security as well. Deep, I just gave a seminar on AI security yesterday morning, 2 days ago, and there was 450 people. So yes, there's a lot of people who want both of these things. So these are good. All right.
Yeah, if they had any specific questions or anything about the scheduling, pass those on, and we can contemplate those for the white paper. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, awesome. All right. So this brings us to our speaker for today. So thanks, Adele. We have Matt White from the Linux Foundation and the PyTorch Foundation. He's been, I asked him if he could join us to kind of, give us his perspective on what's going on with the organizations and anything else that might be interesting. Matt's got an incredible background and gets around. I see him all over the place. And so I can only aspire to get as much done as he does. And so Matt White, could you please give us a little background about yourself and please take it away.
Sure. So yeah, as I mentioned earlier, I do lead the PyTorch Foundation. We are definitely a growing foundation. There's a lot more interest in PyTorch, and we are building out. We have about 110 ecosystem projects which evolve and sort of revolve around PyTorch. These are projects like diffusers and PyTorch Lightning and other components that are, pretty integral to the entire ecosystem. Lots of things changing with PyTorch in the next few months. Can't really say a lot of stuff, but we are definitely in a growth phase here, and you know, we're going to be seeing some significant changes that will expand our presence and you know, grow our ecosystem to be a little bit more broad in the AI space. There's two initiatives that I'll kind of just talk about today. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff going on in AI. There's a lot of things going on in AI in every single foundation. Obviously, here with this working group and CNCF, and then you know, Finos, we've got activities there on financial LLMs, and they're in the process of creating a fund for R&D for projects that are finance focused. There's, you know, even like in the you know, Academy Software Foundation, there's activities that are taking place with the sort of, I would say, still incremental improvements in video generation for AI, which is still, it's pretty nascent still, right? And so in 3D generation, so they're, you know, they're stepping into that space too. And I suspect that in the course of the next 18 months or so, the development in video generation will get past this. You know, there's a temporal hurdle right now with video generation where you degrade over time, and I think there's going to be workarounds to get through that. So, and yeah, I mean, I don't think there is a single foundation at the Linux Foundation that is not at least doing some exploratory group or some activity related to AI. So today I will just, although there's a myriad of topics, I'm going to stick with just one. Actually, this is two. I'm going to share my screen here. And bear with me here. I'm going to try and grab a portion of my screen. It was grabbing the wrong portion. Okay.
We got purple.
Purple will grow. All right. Never mind the introduction slide here.
There we go.
All right. So we have about, I guess, 25 minutes here. I'll be talking about the model openness framework, which some of you may be familiar with. This is a product out of the Generative AI Commons in LFAI and data. And then I'll mention a little bit about licensing. So there's another activity that we're working on right now, is to develop a AI model license. So that being said, I will jump right into it. Just want to make sure that there's no latency. You can see this thing says background.
Yes.
All right, cool. Okay, so you know, there's a lot of conversations around open AI, open source AI. What is it? What is it not? Conflicting definitions. You know, the OSI has released their own definition. Probably 50% of folks are on either side of that definition. There's not a lot of, I would just say that the definition is contentious, to put it mildly. So in general, you know, these challenges in OpenAI, and I use the term OpenAI with the space, is that there's no consensus on what it really is. There's a lot of, because of that, there's a lot of products that are, or you know, projects that are out there that claim to be open. What are they? Are they, you know, they say they're open weights, they say they're open models, they say they're open source. What does that really mean? A lot of projects also don't release a lot of their components. So they may just release the model architecture and the, you know, final pre-trained weights, or some, you know, fine-tuned set of weights that maybe for like instruction fine-tuned, or for chat conversational AI. So there are a lot more components involved in the development of a model. And so that doesn't provide a lot of transparency and certainly doesn't aid in reproducibility. Open source licenses, this is kind of being a little bit of a frustration of mine, is that open source licenses were always developed for open source software. They were not developed for models and weights. And so Apache 2.0, MIT seem to be popular choices, but if you are an attorney or counsel at your company, you know that the terminology does not cover models or weights. And then there are some licenses out there that are restrictive, and they've really come to this point where they want to, we look at something like OpenRail, where the license is really intended to steward folks towards responsible AI, but it does it in a way that is encumbering. And, if you're an open source purist, you're not really looking for the licensor to tell you how to use the model and weights. You're really looking for something that's permissive, and then we have these great things called like laws that handle issues of illegal use and other sort of misuse of AI models. And then I think one of the other challenges here is that there are models that are released on Hugging Face, let's say, or like take for instance Llama, Llama 2, Llama 3. Llama's released with a restrictive license. And so what happens is the fine-tuning community will take Llama, one of the models, and then they'll fine-tune it, and then they'll re-release it under MIT or Apache 2.0, which you just can't do, right? And so that creates like a minefield of, okay, I think this model's okay because it's a permissive license. And then folks go and institute it and they find out, oh, that's really actually Llama. And you actually have to abide by the original terms of the license. So Apache 2.0 is sort of being a popular choice. This is like Mistral, have released all their models under Apache 2.0 that are open. Pythia, Eleuther AI, early on made this choice. There's a few under MIT. GPT-2 was originally released under MIT. And then we have all these proprietary and restrictive licenses. So there's a term community license that is used colloquially for basically licenses that are very specific to the model itself and its community. And so like there's a Llama community license, the DBRX has its community license. And so these licenses are restrictive, right? They implement acceptable use policies, they implement certain restrictions that guide the usage of a model. And those restrictions may trigger a clause that will cause you to have to go and renegotiate a license if you hit so many monthly average users, these sort of things. Unfortunately, the camp of restrictive licenses is much bigger right now than the camp of permissive licenses. And to note, sometimes model architecture is released separately from model weights. And so in the case of like Gemma, the model architecture is under Apache. The model weights are actually behind an acceptable use policy. And so you have to actually go and download them and accept, agree to an agreement before you can actually use them, which is a form of restriction. So the message that we've been trying to evangelize for the last 12 months is that AI is not software. Like, no explanation needed. It's not software. What OSS licenses cover are software, documentation, and associated libraries and tools. No matter what, we're talking header files, we're talking like source code, these are all still software. But AI models are not strictly software. Software is a component of the model development process and of the ending artifacts. And so what we did was we took all the different components, identified all the different components that are traditionally released or were traditionally released in research, and whittled them down to the content types of like code, data, and documentation. And so code, data, and documentation, code, we have inherent copyright. Data, you cannot copyright. Documentation, you can copyright. And so we've distilled them down to about 17 components here. The ones you can traditionally see are like the model parameters, so the weights and like biases, and then the model architecture itself, which can, it could be in code, but it could also be released in a configuration file, like with TensorFlow. It could be released with the model weights, paired with the model weights in the same file. So there's some nuances here that aren't exactly the same paradigm as software development. So what the model openness framework was designed to do was effectively to address a lot of these challenges with licensing, with transparency, with reproducibility, and allow model producers sort of to release their models and weights in a way that makes it very clear what they're providing the user. And for the user, it makes it very clear what is acceptable use, what they're getting, and how complete a release is. So the open source, like the OSS community doesn't, my experience is that they don't always know what open science is and a lot of these other open principles that are very prevalent in academia. In academia, we rely heavily on open science to help further research, further development, to collaborate. And this is how, we've come to this current state of the model architectures with the transformers and with diffusion models, because of this iterative process, right? Where we share research, share a technical report, a research paper. We provide code, we provide data, we provide, open access, which allows you to download those documents and files without a paywall. So there's a lot of openness going on, right? And, open science is not the same as open source. Open source is an element of open science, but open science is this very, broad space that's, part of the it's a subdomain of open knowledge, right? Which is that, everything is open. Share, be very complete. So open access itself is, not having paywalls, not having subscription fees to be able to download artifacts. Open data, we know, is being able to share and reuse and redistribute data in a permissive way. The same thing with open source is that code and code artifacts, even compiled binaries, are shared without restriction. And then we've got these other kind of open methods out there, right? To foster collaboration and peer reviews and other things that really help advance science. And so we applied this to the model openness framework so that we would encourage folks to move more towards the spectrum of open science. And one thing that we had to address was the concept of openness, because openness was being used for a myriad of different definitions, and it just wasn't very clear. And so what we did is we distilled down, this concept of completeness, which we have in open science, which is providing very comprehensive, well-documented information, making sure that as many components you could release are available for download and are not paywalled. And we distinguish that from the concept of openness, where we moved openness into this sort of binary aspect, which is either that it is open or it's not open, right? We didn't want to have a spectrum of openness. what we say is that if something is open, it meets the four freedoms of open source, which is, you know, the ability to modify, use, study, redistribute, ... And so to be open, something has to be licensed under a permissive or copyleft license, like plain and simple. We just weren't going to go into the weeds of, okay, this piece is, you know, this is just open, that's a little bit open. And this is in contrast to some of the other works that were published at the time. Like this paper was published a year ago, where, you know, people were talking about like a spectrum of openness or like degrees of openness. And I think that just, you know, creates a lot of confusion, and it was problematic for us. So the moth sort of crescendos with this class system, and this is the way to categorize model releases effectively. So if you provide, there's sort of like an on-off switch, right? If you don't use open licenses, you're not going to classify, right? You're just not going to achieve a class here. But if you're using open licenses, then you come in at entry level here with class 3. That's basically the minimum viable product that you need to be able to go and, you know, study. You can red team, you can use a model and its weights as a part of your project or part of your product. And this is really the model architecture and the parameters, right? Just the bare minimum that you need to be able to use a model. And for the majority of folks out there, like the fine-tuning community, application community, this is all they use, right? This is all they need. Generally, this comes with a technical report, some evaluation results. The model data card thing is like sometimes you get a model card, includes data, maybe they're separate, whatever. But if you go into Hugging Face, you'll see like you check the model card, check the data card. And as long as you're using an open source license, you know, you're in the clear. And so this is like the minimum viable entry point. Then we have this sort of transitionary tier, which is open tooling. It includes all the class 3 components, the model and parameters, but it also adds in more information about how the model was developed and how to validate the model. So that means like the training code, inference code are there so that you can evaluate the model and confirm benchmark results, right? So they're going to provide you the evaluation code, and then there's evaluation data potentially that you can use to validate the model performance and understand a little bit more about the model. And then we have at the very top here, class 1, which is open science. This is how things used to be, you know, before generative AI really like took off. And so, you know, research papers, so that, you know, not technical reports, complete data sets, whether they were licensed or not, but those data sets were described, and you know, data preprocessing code. How is the data processed to create the data mix for training? And then the model parameters with intermediate checkpoints, right? So like as the model's being trained, you get a checkpoint and you can go back to any point in time and see how the model was trained, how it evolved through training, and then any like additional metadata. And so that is everything you would need for full reproducibility. And I use that word reproducibility loosely because if you've pre-trained a model, you know that there's no such thing as full reproducibility because of the stochastic nature of training. But this is as close as you can get to providing full transparency and full visibility into the process. So we went through like all of the components and we decided on what might be the most appropriate licenses, right? The most like permissive, and the MOF doesn't require you to use a particular license, only that it be a OSI approved license for software, an open permissive data license, and open permissive license for documentation. And so generally the preferred is like, the Apache 2.0 or MIT with CDLA for data sets. And the caveat here is that most pre-training data sets are already copywritten. You can't go and just apply a new copyright. And so why we chose CDLA is because CDLA is a usage grant. It is not a license that says, I guarantee you that this data is copyright free and that you can use it for any purposes. No, it's like you're being given this data set and you can use it, understanding that there may be copyrighted material in here. So implementing the MOF is pretty straightforward, but I'm not going to spend too much time on this because we have this licensing thing solves a lot of the problems. But basically, implementing the MOF requires that you distribute license file, whether it's a single license file or multiple license files within your GitHub repo that are bound to the different components. And then you use this model openness tool at isitopen.ai to go and generate your mof.json file. And when you do that, once you get your JSON file in place, you get a badge, and then it shows up in the classifications for all the model listings. So we've got about 5 minutes left, so I'm going to skip ahead. So if you want to go and check it out, the model openness tool is at isitopen.ai, and you can play around with it if you like. The one thing that has been a challenge for the model openness framework adoption has been that the association of different licenses for different components. And so that creates some friction for model producers because they like the traditional way of, hey, I just drop a single license file in place and that covers everything. And so this friction caused us to go back and say, well, how can we make this smoother for everybody? And we decided that we started a small group of mostly attorneys to look at how we could create a new licensing model. And so we originally started out with an Apache 2.0 license style. And then that sort of evolved into, okay, now we created this meta license, which is basically wraps MIT, wrapped CDLA and CC by 4.0 into one. And then it sort of evolved now back to an MIT style license. And this is an ongoing project that we expect to launch at the member summit in March, announce that license, but it's called Open Model Data Weights, Open MDW. It is now down to a very concise license, and it's open for public comment. So if you have a legal background or you have an attorney at your company, feel free to reach out to me because we're basically discussing what I would say like the final changes on this thing. And so it's gone from being very big to being actually very concise and small and very MIT style. And it makes it very clear what artifacts are covered and under what licensing terms. And I think this is better for MOF adoption, but also just better all around, because in the OSS world, we have, MIT or Apache 2.0, we drop a single license file, we select the license in GitHub, and that just takes care of business. Here, we're doing it with a new license, and we expect to go to the OSI and have it approved as being an open source license for AI.
Matt, do you need any additional help with classifying or some of these models? I remember last year you were actually asking for some help, but it sounds like this is the final outcome of that, right? So is there any other things that you need help with from the community, or I mean,
Yeah, so I think so Arnaud from, I don't know if you know Arnaud from IBM. He's leading it now. And I know we had a bunch of students from Columbia University that were updating and classifying models. So there's still an opportunity to get involved. It's an ongoing process, right? I think they need, because every time there's a new model released every 2 days. And so as they come in, I think they're looking to classify them. So there is an opportunity to get involved. If the best place to get involved is actually on the LFAI and Data Slack to join the Generative AI Commons channel. And so yeah, I know Ron and yourself are there, Ricardo. And so if anyone wanted to get involved and help with classifications or the project itself is in GitHub now, so it's you can contribute to the model openness tool. And Arnaud is the right person to talk to, and he's pretty open. So
makes sense. Thanks.
Of course. Any other questions?
Oh, lots of questions. But anything else you wanted to present first, Matt? Don't want to cut you off if you got more.
Nope, that was it. I just wanted to make sure I stayed within the hour.
Oh, well, thank you. You'll be the first time we've ever been on time, so thank you. Well, so yeah, I think I can speak for everyone here. Thank you very much. That is very informative. Obviously you've been working on this for a bit. Maybe I could ask, are we okay with sharing this? I mean, I know you said we could play around with it, but do you feel comfortable with us just going out in the wild and spreading the gospel here?
Yeah, the model openness framework and model openness tool are already out there. So the MOF was published on arXiv in a white paper a year ago. The model openness tool is active. If you just go to isitopen.ai, you can get to the tool and to the paper. The license itself is not officially released yet, so it's in community review. And so my hope is that by March, or maybe at the end of February, we have that ratified, and that can be shared more broadly.
Great. On the license, I got a couple of tech lawyer friends who might be interested. Is it okay if I introduce you to them about it, or how do you want?
Sure. Yeah, anyone.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm open for a conversation, and they can look at the draft and provide comments on it.
Okay. Awesome. Anyone have questions for Matt?
Yeah, I have one quick question. So the models which we see, gazillions of models on, let's say, Hugging Face, do they follow certain framework, or it just each one follows their own licensing model?
So on Hugging Face, if you put your model on Hugging Face, you have to pick a license, right? Just like on GitHub if you have a project. And you can see that license in Hugging Face unless they have not decided not to use a license, which is bizarre. Generally, nobody follows any kind of framework. People just click the box and they say Apache 2.0, I know what that means. That's kind of it. So part of the licensing process that we're doing now to develop this new license will be to ask Hugging Face to put that license inside of the model spaces so that people can start using that license actively.
Yeah, got it. Thank you.
Got it.
Okay. Anyone else real quick? No? All right. Well, Matt, again, we appreciate it. Thank you very much, sir. All right.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, we'll officially end the meeting for now. It's 9:03, Friday, January 10th. Thank you, everybody. Look forward to getting updates on the white papers, and we will see you in a couple of weeks. If anyone here was looking to join some of these efforts, please just get in our Slack channel. and say, because some of them may not be actively worked on, right? They had a little bit of a go, and now we need people to like lead different efforts. So please, if something is of interest, please step forward and we'll see what we can organize around. Okay. Bye everyone and Happy New Year.
Thanks everyone. Take care.
Bye.